Hi, everybody. David here from Markzware. And today we have Amy Menendez, one of our longtime Markzware customers. How are you doing today, Amy?
David, I'm doing wonderful. How are you? It's always a pleasure to drop in and say hello and give a review of your software.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing great. Really appreciate it. Amy is, she works for a leading New York City publishing house, worldwide publisher. And she's also the owner of LearnAdobe123.com, where you can get, and you can get all kind of cool things like these, this, I don't know, but you won't be able to see it maybe, but that's like Amy swag, as she calls it. But but you've been using Qt and Qt, which turned into QuarkXPress, and you've been using, of course, PDF Marks for PDF InDesign, and I think you even have IDMarkz. But then you switched to the new OmniMarkz. Why did you do that?
Well, correct. I've been a long-time customer. Worked to InDesign, IDMarkz, and recently I've done a sweep of my doc on my computer, right? Because I've been using the new OmniMarkz. And so I was actually looking up the definition of Omni because I was actually thinking, wow, I mean, this software is so amazing. And Omni pretty much is like all-encompassing, right? And it pretty much does everything. So OmniMarkz is like PDF to InDesign, Quark to InDesign, InDesign to, it does everything all in one, right? And I can't say enough about this. I use OmniMarkz to fix bad InDesign files when I have a corrupt InDesign file and I need to export to IDML. I use OmniMarkz when I need to take a PDF and I don't have an editable document and I need to export to InDesign or to Illustrator or to get a document with text frames and all of my fonts and images like exported. Like OmniMarkz does everything. Like it's just incredible. Like you said, I work for a large publisher, so we do backlists, and I'm constantly getting like Quark 5 files. Quark doesn't even support, opening them and saving them anymore. So I used to use the Quark to InDesign, right? Because we're an Adobe house, right? And I used to use the Quark to InDesign, but now like I have just one place to go for everything, like, and it's cheaper, right? So it's like cost effective.
Very good.
Like, besides like having like everything all in one place, and I get this preview, I can see what fonts everything is using. Like it's saving my company money, saving me money because I don't have to buy like 3 different softwares: the PDF, the Quark, the InDesign marks. Like this one software does everything all in one.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. I can't tell you like how many times like it saved my butt. And I just want to say like, part of my job description is workflows, right? And I have a sick need as a pre-press person to technically want to like troubleshoot things and figure out why things break, right? But sometimes like there isn't, 3 weeks or a week to try and figure out why a document is broken. Like it needs to start to get into production.
Yep.
Right? So all that is great, like trying to figure out like why something is broken, but sometimes you just need to get that document moving into the next part of the productivity. So OmniMarkz has like saved the day like so many times. Like just recently I had a corrupt like 2022 document that had to be that wouldn't that when opened in 2022, the IDML just would not open up in any other application. It just kept crashing any application. Like there was just no explanation for it. We would do a save as all the normal like
troubleshooting
troubleshooting on the file, right? And then I just went to OmniMarkz, dropped the InDesign document in it, pointed it at the specific application that I wanted the document to open in, right? Because I had more than one version of InDesign.
Yeah.
And I knew that that designer was going to be working in InDesign 2019. And that InDesign document was created in InDesign 2019. And you know, OmniMarkz like saved the day.
Wow. So yeah, it basically recovers bad files. That's one thing it can do. Not always, but most of the time, actually, within design files at least, because OmniMarkz supports QuarkXPress, PDF, Illustrator, and InDesign files, it does a great job of recovering, like you just explained. So wow, amazing. Yeah.
It's also great for like saving down files, like for people that like,
CS6 or
don't have the version, they get sent the file and they need the InDesign
right
down to another
application. Another thing you explained in the preferences of OmniMarkz, you can set, like you said, you can set to open in specific versions of, if it's InDesign file in InDesign, or if it's QuarkXPress file in QuarkXPress, or if it's a whatever type of file, you can have it automatically open in different applications, even totally different external applications. So very handy, yeah.
And another beautiful thing about OmniMarkz is recently we received really old, I believe they were like InDesign files or Quark files that needed to be not only converted to InDesign files, but the managing editor needed Word documents so that the
they could,
so that the author, right. And the documents were so old that the paragraphs were not linked, right? So like even if they were able to go into the original documents, they would have had to like copy and paste, like 272 pages from page to page into a Word document so that the author or the managing editor could go make these tech changes, for the new publication. That would have took forever. OmniMarkz was able to not only export, new version, new IDMLs. I think there were Quark documents that I needed IDMLs, but they also were able to export, RFT files, Word document or story documents that open perfectly in Word, of the entire book, so that the author or the managing editor was able to make the changes and then bring everything back into the InDesign document. So like, there's so many uses for this application. It's just, I can go on and on.
Yeah. And how about the, because one of the things is, if you use one or more of the file formats we mentioned, QuarkXPress, Adobe InDesign, PDF, or Illustrator, which most people do in graphic design or even printing and publishing, or if you already own an existing Markzware product or two of them, you're better off getting OmniMarkz just in and of itself, because you can check all those different file formats and convert them. But also, I already spilled the beans. You also get the file inventory, advanced file inventory. How do you find that?
Oh, I mean, that is one of the most beautiful parts of OmniMarkz. As soon as you drop a file into it, you get a preview of the document, right? So here I have like a Quark 4 document. I don't even know what it looks like. As soon as I drop it into OmniMarkz, I get a preview of what the document looks like, so I can tell what it looks like, because who knows how long it's been sitting like in a data asset file management or whatever. And it gives me like what fonts are used, like how many images are used. You get like a complete file inventory of it. Like, I mean, it's phenomenal. Like it's nice. I could show you how it works.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me see here. You have to share screen, I think, on your.
Like I was saying, recently I did a cleaning of my doc because I have too many apps in my doc. But I was able to get, I still have it, but I was able to get rid of the Quark to InDesign and the InDesign marks, because OmniMarkz does everything all in one.
Yeah.
Right? It's all encompassing, right? I mean, it's really fantastic. And I do not get any commission for plugging this software. I
No.
really love it. I can't express how many times this has just, helped the productivity of my workflow, like extremely. Like that's all I can say about it. It's just a time-saving, productivity-saving, amazing tool to have. Like if you're in pre-press, if you're in workflow, if you're a designer, like there's so many people that benefit from this tool. Okay, so here I have some really old Quark documents, so all I need to do is just drop them in. I get a beautiful preview. I get a preview of exactly what the book looks like. It's telling me that it's QuarkXPress 6.
Wow.
Date,
yeah. Old file.
Date that it was modified, the date it was created, how many fonts that it's using. I can see how many colors are in the book, that exactly which fonts are being used in the book, the images, so if I have an image folder, which images, what the resolution of the images were, it's just like pretty phenomenal, the information that I could just get from this document. And then I could export it to InDesign, to Quark, to Publisher, to Acrobat, to Illustrator. And my favorite thing is going into the preferences, right? And setting, so for automation, I think I only have IDML at this point, but usually I have IDML and RFT, like a story, a Word document.
Yeah, for publishing,
you can use just to automatically, relative to the path. So every time you drop a document in, I can say export to IDML. I could say export to a story. I could choose, a text document, which will open perfectly in Word for you.
Yeah.
So, if somebody is asking you for, the text document, maybe they just need you to review the text in a document, PNG or a GIF, right? And then here, this is where you can set the preferences, right? So if you were trying to recover that document, like sometimes I do, and you could choose to open in the application that the document was created in, or a specific version of the document, right?
Yeah, so, very handy.
So many different, choices that you can choose. So usually if I do this, right, and there you go. There's my IDML, because that's what I had on.
Yeah, it automatically created it. Yeah.
It automatically creates it in a beautiful folder.
Yeah.
So now if I drop the next one in, it should create a story at the same time.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. There's the folder.
Because I have that, and look, it's got all these different.
And there's the text. Yeah.
And I love it. This is perfect. I could see everything. I mean, how perfect is this for somebody that doesn't even have those applications on their computer?
Right.
Right. They can get a preview of it. They know what they're looking at.
They can explain to the customer, hey,
This is what I was trying to find, right? This is the right book that I was trying to find, and let me get this on to the right person, the right designer, right? So that is perfect.
Yeah. Wow.
And, so I mean, there's just so many uses for this.
Oh yeah, and you can also make reports out of it as well, for sharing with other people.
Exactly. Right. So I mean, I just can't express more. And then here, this was the other day, it was time consuming. There was another person that I was working with that was troubleshooting this document. It's a InDesign 2022 document that needed to be downsaved for an academic person that only had 2019. And every time that we opened it or exported an IDML or saved as another an InDesign document and then exported an IDML, it just kept crashing in 2019.
Wow.
It just would not open, And here, I could drop this in. I could point this to, I don't have it on this computer. I have 2019 on my other computer. But we just pointed to open in 2019, and the InDesign document just opened up perfectly. And everybody was happy, and it just saved the day. But I just dropped it in,
Yeah, it's already a good sign if a corrupt file that's crashing InDesign opens in OmniMarkz. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
So I got everything, and then I just exported the IDML, you know.
Yeah.
And then and then this is new, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could choose. It's letting you know that you could choose the path that you want to save it to, you know. So you could choose, and it's letting you know that you could choose the specific application. You can show it in Finder when it's done. I always like to see it in Finder because usually I'm doing this and then like sending it to somebody.
Right. Yeah. Me too.
Or I'm gonna double check it and make sure that it does open before I send it to somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I export.
Yeah, you export, right?
Yeah, and I show it in the. You know, I already have this. But,
yeah. But what's amazing is this file was crashing in design, and now it, you know, it has been recovered. Now, what you can do, Amybeth, if you can go back, open recent, or I'm sorry, just go to File and go see here, Convert to IDML. If you get a really tricky file that's crashing OmniMarkz, you just go direct Convert IDML, and that will sometimes, you know what I mean? Because the preview is often the corruption in normal InDesign as well. Yeah. So that's even just a more like direct way. If you're having really problems with previewing it, just file convert to IDML. Yeah.
Look at David with the OmniMarkz.
Pro tip. Well, you know, if you work here, you should learn. You should know something. I hope, right?
You didn't know.
So yeah.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I love to show off your software. I love to be able to be the hero, right? Like when I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
You know, being that I'm on a workflows team, sometimes like, you know, I mean, like I said, I really love to be able to figure it out and know the technical reason why something crashes, but sometimes there's just no time. Sometimes you need to put your cape on, right? And like fix it right away because somebody's waiting for it. Like there's always a timeline in print.
Yeah.
Like things always need to be done. It's always like this has to be done by this time, like this step, and like you need to like hand it off to the next person. So sometimes like, you know, OmniMarkz helps me put on my cape and like be the hero and like, you know, just say we figured it out and hand it off and save the day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And a lot of times bad files are just like things go corrupt and there's no real explanation.
Right. There's
so
really no explanation. There's nothing inside like that you can purge or like, you know.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some, it's going to work with the new FlightCheck.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So do you want to tell me a little bit about that? Cause
sure. Yeah. I'll just real quick, but that, you know, you showed the file inventory, which FlightCheck does, of course, as well. But the difference with FlightCheck and OmniMarkz is FlightCheck is rules based. So we have the ground controls or pre-flight profiles. Right. So you're checking against, yeah, exactly. Like, is it PDFX3? You know, is it going to meet the standards of the digital printer? Right, for the client or for the design, resolution wise, you put values in, minimum font sizes, you know, you name it. And so that's the one thing. Number two, it also packages or collects, you know, your InDesign or Quark file or right, fonts, images, etc. But also it'll integrate with OmniMarkz, one of the other Markzline products, and we have another Markzline video. Yeah, I'll put down below the other video. Right, so when you package, you can actually include an IDML with a Quark file. So I just tweeted it on at Markzware on Twitter. The customer, it was a real customer. She just asked, I didn't put her name, of course. I'm using InDesign 2022, but my colleague is using Quark still. Will QXPmarkz help me? Well, it will, because then she can ask her colleague to drop it on QXPmarkz, export IDML, or she herself can use QXPmarkz to open her QuarkXPress file on her machine. And export to IDML and open her InDesign. So it allows Quark users to interact in InDesign world, you know. So, right. So this integration will be in FlightCheck as well, which people have asked for years, the ability to preview and convert files along with the pre-flight information, which is vital for many people's jobs. They're pre-flighters. They have to check, and then they want to take the next step, whether it's converting or, you know, whatever.
Everything will be all integrated in one. Fantastic.
Yeah, and FlightCheck 2022 is still a few months off, but in any event, we have a bunch of videos on it. We have a beta. If you're interested, just drop us an email on sales@markzware.com. But yeah, you have one, but yours expired, so we'll get you a new one. You know.
I was just checking.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Good question. But okay, we always ask, of course, Amybeth, would you recommend OmniMarkz for other potential buyers?
Would I recommend OmniMarkz for other potential buyers? Yes. And I want to reiterate, I do not,
No.
I do not sell OmniMarkz myself. I am just a fan. I am a complete fan as a customer of OmniMarkz. I'm a consumer. I pay for OmniMarkz. It does nothing but increase my productivity, and it is beneficial to my workflow. I could not see not having it as part of the integration of my workflow, because it saves the day. So yes, I would absolutely. I give it 5 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. And I would absolutely recommend it to anybody that's a designer, anybody that's in pre-press, anybody that needs to convert files, especially in today's world, and at the speed that they keep coming out with new versions of the software, and people are still working on older versions, or different versions, or getting versions, or working in art houses that are on specific versions. It's always good to have a reliable application that can convert your files and give you a good output.
Yeah,
yes.
No, absolutely.
100%.
Thank you, Amybeth. And most of the time, the vendors, the software developers, send the swag to the customers. But Amybeth is such a fan; she sends us the swag. So she makes.
Those are my learning when my Adobe 1, 2, 3. Learning makes my head explode swag.
Yeah.
If anybody wants some swag, they can just reach out to me in the comments, and I'd be happy to send them some swag as well.
Yeah, let me show your webpage real quick while I have this recording going. I'm just gonna put it right here. This is Start Learning Adobe.
I'm ready to update my classes with some new 2022 classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, courses available, right? You have your courses,
Yeah.
and about. So yeah, but I mean, obviously, Amybeth is great. I mean, not only because she totally recommends our software, but we have known Amybeth for years from trade shows and all that. And she's always just been very open to share knowledge and tips and tricks and all that type of stuff, So that's really neat. And I'll leave a link to her site down below, and you can see all the great quotes that Amybeth is getting. Wow. Corel Draw. Yeah. Oh, by the way, on that note, we get a lot of customers, Amybeth, that get back to the Skype here. They have Corel Draw, or they have a Canva, or they have a Affinity Publisher or Microsoft Publisher, and they want to get it to an InDesign for creating a better, a book professionally. And right, you see where I'm going, right? You just have them create a PDF out of Corel Draw or out of Canva, and that PDF you can then convert it with OmniMarkz. Yeah.
And I've given you some of those files as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Canva PDFs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool because you see who created the PDFs, So.
Right. I've had a few of those coffee table art books come across my, come into production that were created in Canva. Unbelievably.
Yeah. More and more.
Yeah. That had to be converted to InDesign.
Yeah.
Files that I used your software.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
From Canva.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's a perfect example. There's another perfect example of how that's used in the production world, in the print production world.
Yeah. About Canva, I mean, we've talked about Canva before, and people are really against Canva in the beginning, particularly professional graphic designers. But I think what I see now is that you get the end user, the company, or the author is starting his or her design in Canva, their ideas on canvas, so to speak, and then they hit a roadblock because they realize, this is not going to professionally print right, and then they can take that Canva PDF and hand it off to an InDesign user, a graphic designer who can professionalize it and make it look perfect. With the aid of our tool, you could just be that much quicker in business.
I'm not going to comment on that, but Canva. Although Creative Pro Week has an article on, and I think they're going to do a thing on Canva at their next event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw something on that. I'm a little. I love Creative Pro, so.
Yeah. Well, on that note, what do you're
You have to embrace what you know.
Well, I mean, really, I am not like exaggerating at all. We're getting so many Canva PDFs in, not only like story.
You have to embrace what people are using, especially when everybody's home and everybody's using these web-based applications. So,
and they're getting more and more complex, like multi-page.
The more educated you make people, the more they'll know, right? So it's all about educating.
Right, and they'll learn about InDesign, and they'll learn about
and what they can.
Right.
So that I'm all.
Before we go, that you're also writing articles for. By the way, Amybeth on LinkedIn is a great one to follow. But you're also writing articles for
Creative Pro on ink density and tips and tricks. So I do have about 3 published articles for Creative Pro. I was featured in the Creative Pro, the first magazine, the monthly magazine that came out. So if you search my name, Creative Pro, I think it'll come up.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put it on the screen right here real quick. Coming soon, Creative Pro magazine issue 1. Well, that was a few months ago now.
Yeah.
And I think it has your name in here. Let's see.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Photoshop prepress, reducing total ink density, I guess, by Amybeth Menendez. Wow. Yeah.
I also did an article about reducing ink density in Illustrator, which is really good.
Wow. And those have always been great checks in FlightCheck. Coming soon, checking the total ink density, because that's an important one.
But that is so important.
Yeah. Amybeth, thank you so very much for taking the time, and we love hearing your stories.
My pleasure, David.
All right.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, take care.
Always good having a cappuccino.
Yeah, we had a coffee before we started. Yeah, mine's already. Yes, you did all the talking.
I'm doing all the time.
Thank God. You did great. Thank you very much, Amybeth.
Have a great day.
All right, take care.
All right.